This video is the Check Your Understanding for Unit 4, Section 5. So let's start off first with this first problem. There's two parts to the problem. I'm going to zoom in on this first picture and not worry about that smaller picture here for now. It says, match each diagram with a description and an equation. So we are going to start with the first picture, this question A. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what the equation is and the description. So x is where we're starting. X is the whole amount. So x is in fifths, if you can see that. So we are starting at 5/5, and then y is not as many as that. So we are actually decreasing by 1/2. So if we look at A is a decrease by 2/5. So if we look at the equation of that, then we've got here x is where we started, and then we decreased it by 2/5 of x. And we want to put that as a decimal, not as a fraction. So if we go 1 whole minus 2/5, we end up with 3/5 x. But, we don't know what that decimal is. Let's try and figure that decimal. We can go 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. So our equation is y equals 0.6x. Now question B is a little bit different because instead of increasing, we're going to be decreasing. Okay, I've now pulled up the answers for diagram B. So here we've got B. X is starting out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 there. So that is my whole. And then Y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more than where we started with X. We always count how many pieces X is divided into because X is my whole, and then Y is increasing on top of our whole or our original amount. Okay, so in this case, we are increasing by 5/6. Okay, and if we look at the equation, we have Y is equal to X plus 5/6x. Okay, on my calculator, I'm going to do 5 divided by 6, and I get 0.8333, and it kind of continues on forever. So that's 0.83 repeating x, and I'm going to add 1x to that, and we get y is equal to 1x plus 0.83x is 1.83 repeating. So there is our equation. It's that first one. So that's the first problem. We always start with our x and we count the parts on x, and then from there the y is either decreasing or subtracting or less than, or increasing or adding or more than. Okay, this one says at the beginning of the month there were 80 ounces of peanut butter in the pantry. Since then, the family ate 0.3 of the peanut butter. How many ounces of peanut butter are in the pantry now? So here are my options. There's actually a couple options that might work. So we have here, our entire whole is 80%, or 80 ounces, sorry. Now, the family ate 0.3% of the peanut butter. Now there's two ways to look at this. We are at 80%, and then we are subtracting 0.3 of the peanut butter. So we're going to go 80 times 0.3. So that's the first one we are doing. Okay. Now, if we were to calculate that out, we could figure the answer out, but that's not one of the options on here. The other option is if we take this 80 and we factor it out, we get 1 minus 0.3, which is multiplying by 0.7. So the option that takes that is A. That is our correct option. Option B does not work. Option B is actually the amount that they ate, but it's not telling how much they had left. So this bar is how much they had left. All right, let's take a look at the next question. On a hot day, a football team drank 50-gallon cooler of water and half as much again. How much water did they drink? Okay, so we'll start this first one. The football team ate 50 gallons of water. And then they ate half as much again. So the first thing we need to do is figure out how much is half of 50. 50 multiplied by 1/2. That would be 25. So the football team drank the 50-gallon cooler of water, and then they drank half of much again, so that's 25. 50 plus 25 is 75. This is adding because then they drank half as much again, so we're adding to it. All right, this next problem says Jada has 12 library books. So here's our 12 library books. Okay, Han has 1/3 less than that. How many books does Han have? So if here's Jada and she's 12, Han is going to break that up into thirds because he has 1/3 less. So we are going to take 1/3 less of the 12. So we had 12 and we took 1/3 of the 12 away. If we use our calculator and we find what 1/3 times 12 is, we get 4. So 12 minus 4 is 8. We would get 8 books. Now I drew the picture for that. You might not like a picture. You might like to just think of it critically. It doesn't matter, but just so you can see, that is what our picture looks like. Okay, this next question says, if x represents a positive number, that just means that it's like the regular numbers you're used to working with. Which of these expressions show a value greater than x? So here's x. We're going to call this x right here. On this first one, this one is taking away from the whole amount. We're taking 1/4 away. So that one is not greater than x. This one right here, we're adding 1/4 of x. So that actually works out. 7/8 of x is less than, so that does not work. But 9/8, 9/8 is more than 1. So that one does work out. So we've got our choices. This last one's kind of a weird question. It says a person's resting heart rate is typically between 60 and 100. Noah looks at his watch and counts 8 heartbeats in 10 seconds. We need to figure out if Noah's heartbeat is in the normal range or not. So we're saying that 8 heartbeats for every 10 seconds, is that in between our normal range of 60 and 100 beats per minute? So we need 8 to be between 60 and 100. We're not sure. So I want to think about what my actual heartbeat is. So if I take my 8 or my 10, I have to multiply my 10 by 6 to get to 60. So that means I would multiply my 8 by 6 to figure out the beats per minute. That's 48 beats per minute. Is 48 in between the 60 and 100? No, this is not typical because Noah is only 48 beats per minute. Now, if we were to write an equation for H is the number of times Noah heart beats in m minutes. Well, we found that Noah's heartbeat is 48 beats per minute, so H is equal to, and I think that might be given on there, 48 times the number of minutes, and that's all you need to do for that equation.